Hello fragrance family, welcome to Fragrance Therapy. I'm your host Tom. Now look, I pick up these fragrances, I test them to death so you don't have to. The objective is you don't have to go in completely blind. So this series is going to be ongoing staple for this channel. Today I'll go over 3 new releases from French Avenue, Arabiyat Prestige, and Jo Milano, and I'll let you know if I think you should pick them up or pass. So let's jump in. First up, we have Arabiyat Prestige's Rumiel, and this thing is warm, it's spicy, and it is 100% definitely a sweet fragrance. And I actually have no idea what this is cloning. Now listen, if it seems like every content creator out there just can smell anything and automatically know what it's cloning, Yes, there are these distinct scent profiles. Sometimes it's things that we absolutely love or wear a ton that we can pick up right away, but a lot of times we can't quite put our finger on it. And a lot of those times we have to go and look it up. But for this one, online, nothing. So let's judge the fragrance on its own. Let's go over the notes. The notes include on top, pink pepper, clove, and coffee. In the mid, you get cedarwood, sandalwood, and maple rum. And in the base, you get caramelized sugar, amber, dry vanilla, and the smooth leather. First of all, the performance on this thing is solid. A good 7 hours on skin, strong projection for the first 2 hours. Best suited for the colder weather, especially like evening wear or special occasions. Now, what is this fragrance? If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of these like dessert style gourmands. And looking at the notes, that's what I thought this was gonna be, like some type of like edible dessert style gourmand. But it's actually not that. First and foremost, it's like this sweet boozy fragrance, and then secondly, it leans into those gourmands. Definitely has a bit of a darker edge, has some notes like coffee, leather, rum, but even the rum in here is like a maple rum, and it does come off super duper sugary sweet. For me, the fact that this is not like a full-throated gourmand edible dessert style fragrance makes it a little bit more wearable, but not too much. Because as this thing dries, it reminds me of like, if you go into like a Bath and Body Works and you smell a like cinnamon maple candle, that's exactly what this reminds me of. Not a bad fragrance, not bad performance, especially if you like these type of fragrances. That coffee, that leather, that booziness does make it a little bit interesting. But for me, it's just something that I'm not into nowadays. So for that reason, I'm going to give this a pass. Next up, we have French Avenue's Safari Breeze. And this one is inspired by Memoirs of Perfumes, Tales of Zanzibar. And I believe this is an extrait de parfum. Does it say it anywhere on the bottle? I'm not sure. I have to look at the box, and if it is, I'll put it on the screen. This is fresh. It's tropical. For sure gives off like a summer beach vacation vibe. And most people out there have not smelled Tales of Zanzibar, myself included. So to give you some context, this thing lives kind of in the JPG Le Beau, Paradise Garden, Creed's Virgin Island Water, a bit of Torino 21, those types of fragrances. Now, it's not exactly like any of those, just kind of in that style, but there is one big major difference, which I'll get to in a sec. This thing is a blend of fruity, green, and floral notes with this warm, earthy finish. This opens with like a really tart mix of like grapefruit and blackcurrant along with this coconut note. As it cools, you definitely get a spearmint. That's where maybe that Torino 21 vibe comes in. But it also has this very delicate jasmine, not overly floral. But as it settles in its base, it gets grounded with some earthy oak moss, vetiver, and amber. I also get this like very unique herbaceous note in here, almost like a cannabis undertone. Maybe it's that combo of mint, oak moss, and vetiver. I don't know. It's nothing crazy, so I don't want to scare you away. Maybe it's just something that I get. But for me, it gives it a little bit of character. Now, when I first heard about this fragrance, I was a bit worried, because I'm not really a fan of a lot of those fragrances that I mentioned earlier, the JPGs. And the reason is this very thick, creamy coconut that they have. Look, if anyone grew up or has family in South Asia, you'll know this bottle that I'm putting up on screen. That thick coconut oil type of smell, it reminds me of what's in some of those fragrances, and I, for one, can't stomach it. Thankfully, that's where this one differs. This one is much more of a toned down coconut, almost like a subtle coconut water instead of like a thick coconut oil. It actually makes the coconut in here actually quite nice and much more wearable, at least for me. Solid performance, especially for a green, fresh fragrance. 7 hours with good projection for the first 2 hours. Juicy tropical green vibes, cool minty freshness, a touch of like dirty earthiness in the dry down, all while toning down that coconut. I'm 100% in, 100% a pickup, especially for this summer. The last one we have is Jo Milano's Game of Spades Double Bonus. and this is inspired by Louis Vuitton's Meteor. This thing's all about this bright citrus, but that meets this combo of both fresh and warm spices and this earthy base. Notes will be familiar if you know this scent profile. It has bergamot, Sicilian orange, and mandarin up top. Very citrusy and bright. In the mid you get neroli, cardamom, this Indonesian nutmeg, pink and black pepper. And in the base they use something called Java vetiver oil. All you need to know, it gives it like an earthy, kind of smoky finish. Look, this thing is a lovely, easy to wear scent profile. Excellent for the summer times. And this one gives solid performance as well, especially for this DNA. I'm talking about 7 hours of longevity, solid projection for the first hour or so. I think it might even outperform the OG. And this would have been an easy pickup if this was the only alternative to Louis Vuitton's Meteor. But in a world where Shiaka Snow exists, I don't know if it's worth it. Does it perform better? Yes. Maybe you get 45 at the most, an hour more of longevity in this. Scent profiles, basically identical though. Now you can get Snow for about 40 bucks and double bonus is literally double. At the cheapest that I could find it was $80. Now, is it worth it for that 45 minutes to extra hour of performance? Maybe for some, but for me, it's just not worth it. In my opinion, the juice is not worth the squeeze. And for that reason, I would pass on this, and you're looking for an alternative, just get Shiaka Snow. Much cheaper and performs almost just as good and smells almost identical. There you have it, folks. 3 new clone fragrances, and honestly, none of them are really bad. They all will have their audiences, so if you're into those type of scent profiles, yes, and if for this one, if you value performance a lot, maybe go with this one, but know that you will pay double. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these and what your thoughts are. And as always, stay tuned for more honest, affordable fragrance content. Until next time, I'm out.